Well, baseball, a much better story than the basketball team these days if you're a Longhorns fan. Good evening. Welcome to Game Night. I'm Brian Sanders. Roger Wallace is in Tulsa with the UT men, which is where we start. He has complete reaction from a heartbreak ending, which seems par for the tournament this year. Longhorns in the third round facing Arizona in a 4-5 matchup, but unfortunately for Texas, a strange twist of fate in the final seconds led to a 1-point loss. 70-69 Arizona wins. We can't show you highlights right now because of NCAA restrictions. There are still games in progress, but Texas led by 2 with 14.5 seconds to play when they were called for a 5-second violation on an inbounds play. Instead, it's a turnover, and Arizona scores the go-ahead bucket on the ensuing possession. Longhorns did have 2 shots at the basket in the closing moments, but couldn't get it to go down. Jacobin Brown, a game-high 23 points. Jordan Hamilton added 18, but for the third year in a row, they failed to make it out of the opening weekend. We turn to Roger for more.
Longhorns lose an absolute heartbreaker to Arizona here in Tulsa. Texas battles back from 13 down. They take the lead, and with 15 seconds to go, they've got the ball under Arizona's basket after a block shot with a 2-point lead. Corey Joseph trying to inbounds the ball, calls timeout, but before he's awarded the timeout, referee says 5 seconds. Turnover. Arizona gets the ball. All-American Derek Williams gets the basket, gets fouled, hits the go-ahead free throw. Longhorns miss at the end. Jacobin Brown, contact, no call, and then Gary Johnson, offensive rebound, went back up. No basket, no call on that contact. All right, we've got 2 different statements from the referees. We're going to start with the 5-second call. This is Richard Cartmel, the referee. By the way, a Pac-10 referee says, I had the call. I had 5 seconds before the kid turned and signaled a timeout. I had to make a decision whether it was 5 seconds or a timeout, and I made the decision it was 5 seconds because I had counted 5 seconds before he called timeout. Then, on the final play, he said we all had a look and didn't have a foul on the play, and the buzzer clearly went off before there was contact up high. So we checked with each other. None of us had a foul. There's no review involved. Game over. And that's where Rick Barnes had a problem with the statement. The comment game over had a huge problem with the 5-second call.
You can't release a statement in terms of what they said without going back and looking at it, because again, I would have no problem with, somebody saying, hey, I missed it, and but the timeout was definitely called with 4 seconds. There's no question about that. And again, I don't want to make a big deal about this, because the only thing that bothers me right now, because I don't want to take away from Arizona, is the comment that was released by the NCAA from the official. That, again, because we all make mistakes. We all do, and I can handle that. I can deal with that. But for him to be, again, I thought it was a very smug type of answer, and I just don't, again, I've made mistakes. I make mistakes, and I'm not our team. I told our team we could break down a lot of things, but the fact is, again, I just didn't like the comment that was just released from the NCAA. He turned with 4 seconds, and as soon as he called, again, I just saw it on the camera, and he said timeout, and he could have called it timeout, but he chose to call the 5-second. But again, it's tough. But I just said down there, I mean, officiating this game is a very tough thing to do. But there's certain calls that you have to get right. I mean, the contacts here and there, I mean, those things can happen. But in situations like that, those have to be right. And my thing is, this time of year with the electronics that are out there, we got to be able to use them. Because the main thing, everybody says they want players to decide the game. And the fact is, if it's there to be used, and I do think this, if they would have gone and looked at it, I think they would have changed the call.
I'm trying to count in my head as well as looking in bounds. So I know I was just looking for Jacobin wasn't there on the first cut, Jordan wasn't there on the first cut. So I thought I called time early enough, but I guess it wasn't.
I feel bad more so for our seniors rather than just that one play, because those guys deserve this, more than anybody. And I'm just so in shock right now. I can't believe, how that quick turnaround happened like that. We're up 2, and the ref calls a 5-second call, and then he said I committed contact on a charge where I didn't even feel Derek Williams hit me, and he called that call and he knocked down a free throw. Then we came down, and I thought that it was some contact on Jacobin's drive, and I also thought it was contact when Gary tried to put it back up, and I just think that is very unfortunate and very unfair. I had text messages and calls saying, that it was blatantly that we should have won that game. And honestly, in my heart, I feel that we did, and I'm just so in shock right now. I still can't believe how it ended.
I knew coming in, college is way different than high school. High school you can go undefeated and think everything is perfect. But when you get to college, it's whoever brings it that night to play wins the game. And I don't know who the better team was tonight, but Arizona got it done.
A shattered locker room at the NCAA tournament for the second straight year. Lost at the buzzer last year to Wake Forest. Longhorns, much different type season. Flew under the radar in preseason, then vaulted all the way into the top 2. At one point considered maybe the best team in the country, only to see it end here in the round of 32. Longhorns failed to get to the Sweet 16 for the third straight year. A lot more from Tulsa as the Longhorns talk about the end to their season coming up a little bit later on Game Night. In Tulsa, Roger Wallace, KXAN, Austin News.